Hi everyone. Firstly, I am very excited to speak tonight because patients have become a big thing for me. People come to me all the time. They want to talk to a survivor, someone who's done it, someone who's made it. Even sometimes if it's hard for them and they don't even think they're going to make it, or they just want that hope. So patients have become such a part of my life, and I've made friends, so many friends, and we're all got our own postcode. We don't deviate from each other. If we want support or help, we always go to each other, and it's just an amazing place to be. So I want to thank MPA for their support as well, and also MIA. And I was also saying to my friend, she's here in the audience tonight, and I said to her today, how lucky are we to have MIA looking after us? Because a lot of the work I do with patients who have other cancers, they're always second guessing themselves. Have I got the right care? Am I under the right person? And I said to my friend Louise today, I said, we don't have to second guess that. We know we're in the right place. We know we're under the best in the world. And it is such a beautiful thing to know that, because it takes one little part of the horrible puzzle out of the equation. So I'd like to start off tonight just telling you a bit about my story in case you don't already know. It's always nice to have a good yarn to start the night off. So I'm going to make Georgina feel really old here. So 7 years, 4 months and 26 days ago, I had just turned 50. I thought I was fit and healthy. I was training for a state level touch football tournament. Thought I was the fit and healthiest I'd ever been. I went to work 4 days later, had lunch with some colleagues, meandered back to work, felt dizzy, bang, out. Brain seizure on the floor in front of all my colleagues, just totally out of the blue. I came to and just saw the look on all their faces and thought, what the hell's going on? So within 5 hours I was diagnosed with a brain tumour. 24 hours I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. A week later, after a biopsy, I was diagnosed with stage 4 advanced melanoma. Now that was 7 years ago. Things weren't like they are now, so there wasn't a lot of hope around. There was whispers of immunotherapy trials, but there was nothing for me except chemotherapy here in Australia. So when I went home and told my teenage daughters that I'm sorry, Mum has cancer, and I left out the gory details, they were absolutely distraught, and they were, both of them sobbing in my chest. So I had no choice but to say, I'm going to fix this, I promise. I'm going to get out of this. And then I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to do that? So I went on chemo as a stopgap and then started researching what was around overseas, and I'd heard about this immunotherapy, and when I looked online, found this trial in Portland, Oregon, it just sung to me. It just made sense that if you took this drug that sat on your T cells, it helps your body help itself. You know, it just, my gut feel went, I've got to be there, I need this drug, I need it. Georgina and the team were trying really hard to get trials opened up here, but my time frame, I didn't have the time to wait. So after 3.5 months of no, it's for American citizens, no, you're not on our medical system, no, the trial's full at 70 patients. The words of my mother kept ringing in my ear, you just won't take no for an answer, Julie. So I kept going, and I became known to the scientists as Patient 71, and I left my family and went to America and had treatment for 8 months over there. And I was lonely and it was hard, and I would sneak back home and I'd come and see Georgina and she'd say, keep going, you know, they'll let you come home one day. and they did. And I ended up home, and the rest is history. And so 7 years, 4 months and 26 days, and I'm totally cancer-free, living a great life. But it's hard. It's still really hard. And tonight I want to talk about two things that I hear from patients all the time. And the first one is hope. The first one is hope. We all want hope. when we sit down to get that diagnosis, like for me, it was hard to give me any hope because there wasn't a lot around, right? But now there is, and I'm going to be honest here, I still hear stories of pretty brutal diagnoses, incurable, disease, and talk 5 years if you get through. I'm not saying that's here. I talk to patients all over the country and all over the world. But we need the truth. We need the truth. But if there's any hope out there, that's what we want. We want that hope, even if it doesn't apply to us at the end of the day. I would have been happy dying hopeful that something might save me, And this is what I hear all the time, and there is so much hope. And hope is coming and coming and coming, and there's more treatments. And so I just wanted to put that out there tonight, that us patients, we rely on hope. And the next thing I want to talk about tonight is survivorship, because Victoria mentioned this, and it is such a huge thing. Like, suddenly you're a survivor, but there really is no long-term data. But personally, I believe I'm a survivor and I'll live a long and healthy life. But you're supposed to be jumping up and down saying, yay, I'm a survivor. I've got a friend in the audience tonight, and she's become my friend in the past 6 months, and she sent me an email one day, and I nearly missed it because I'm pretty dopey at that sort of stuff. And I found it, and she'd sent it a week earlier, and she said, thank you, Julie, for writing such a raw and honest story. And I resonated so much with that, and it took me ages to read it, but I've just read it, and thank you. So I responded. I said, do you want to talk? She said, yeah, let's talk. So I was driving home from work one day, and which is what I do with patients, and she was on speakerphone, and we talked about everything, diagnosis, misdiagnosis, whatever had happened. And I just pulled up and I parked, and we were about to say goodbye, and she said, before you go, how do I move on from this? And I said, wow, that's a really good question. Because we're not the same as we were before. When you're diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, the things you deal with, and I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with this, and it's usually with well-meaning people. They're well-meaning, but they don't know how to deal with it. They're your friends, some of them are your family, and some of them kill you with kindness. Some of them deliver a lasagna every second night that your kids complain about. Some of them don't know what to say to you, so they say nothing at all. Some of them say stupid things. They don't mean it, they don't know any better. And some of them ignore you completely. I had this friend, I can hardly call him a friend, but anyway, he said to me, oh, when you first got diagnosed, Julie, he said, I saw you at the shops and I ran across the main road so I didn't have to talk to you. I said, well, you should be careful. You could have got hit by a bus and fallen under that bus and you would have been Gonski. But this is what we have to deal with. So we're not the same people. We want to move on. We don't necessarily want to do the same jobs we did before. That ship sailed. In our minds, that might have been why we got cancer. Or, it's just a really, really difficult place to be. So we need to help, and we all, us melanoma patients, just reach out to each other and say, how are we doing this? How are we going to get through this? For me, I completely refocused, and I'm a bit of a stubborn piece of work, and I thought, melanoma, you're not taking any more of me than you've already taken. So I remember trying to go back to work, and I thought, well, I'm not going to lie. I'm an honest person. I'm going to tell them what I've been through. I've had melanoma, didn't get the job. This happened about 5 or 6 times. Before that, I got every job I went for. So I thought, melanoma, you're not going to get any more of me. So I wrote a book. And I sat and wrote a book because I thought that would help me and that would help other patients get through this journey and have some hope in their lives. And that's what we all want. We want hope. We want to help each other. And Louise, who's my friend in the audience, once we opened up the discussion about moving on, it was, we haven't stopped talking about it. We haven't stopped talking about what we can do to divert our attention and achieve things in the face of this awful thing that's happened to us, and make good out of our lives and help other patients. And we're so passionate about it, aren't we, Louise? Oh, and by the way, Rob, I know I've only met you tonight, but Louise has got a new boyfriend. His name's Ned.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. She's been pursuing him for a long, long time, and she shares him with a lot of other people, but she still loves you. But I did say to Louise today, I said, I want to ask you something. I said, once you got the Ned call, because she went, oh, dancing girls, yeah. I said, how long did it take you to come down? She said, not long. And she sent me a text about a celebration dinner she was having with her family, and it said, this is surreal because this is a goal I never thought I'd have to achieve. And there you're out, it's not on your bucket list, but you're out celebrating it. And look, we are grateful, we are so grateful that we are in this position, but it's a toughie, and I just wanted to say that to you guys tonight. It's kind of a nice problem to have, but I think we need to really address it. Thanks for having me. Thank you.